Aminata radiates joy. She's adored by her husband and is an inspiration to her children. But there was a time when her Sydney life would have seemed an impossible dream. Aminata was just a child when civil war broke out in Sierra Leone, a conflict that claimed 70,000 lives.
I'm in the house with my father and we could just see houses being burned and people crying because they are in the house that is being burned.
Aminata's father protected people who were fleeing the war, welcoming them into his home. But a few years later, when Aminata was 18, rebel soldiers forced everyone out of the house.
I saw one of the rebels looked at me. His name is Darami. I knew straight away that he was going to ask me to come to him. I knew straight away I had to let go of my dad's hand because I was scared. They will most of the time ask the child to kill the father, so I didn't want that incident to happen.
In other words, she sacrificed her life to save her father's. Did you know what was going to happen to you?
I knew what was going to happen. The reason why they kidnapped girls was to be used as sexual slave and also as a human shield. That means when the government is fighting with the rebels, they will put civilians at the front center and they will give them guns also so they look like the rebels.
Can you tell me about that first night?
So when he called me, he realized that I have never experienced intimacy with a man, and it became almost possessive. But my first experience with a man was 6 or 7 men, and I woke up unconscious.
After several months, tired and hungry, the rebels offered to exchange some of the younger hostages for food. Aminata was not supposed to be part of the exchange, but the night before, she was attacked by one of the rebel leaders.
It was the first time I saw somebody so vicious, felt some sort of shame the next following day that he has raped me with a weapon. And then the following day, I got released with children.
And then you were reunited with your dad.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that moment?
There's a time in life when you go through things and you don't know if it's actually happening. And walking home, and I saw my dad. He was not the same.
Did you ever talk to him about what happened?
No.
You think he knew?
Yes.
After Aminata's release, her family and the refugee authorities recognised that she wasn't safe in Africa, and with their support, she became the first female refugee from Sierra Leone to settle in Australia. How long did it take you after you arrived in Australia to start feeling safe again?
When I arrived in Australia, I felt safe completely. As soon as I entered that airport, I knew I was safe.
Aminata was able to enrol in school, even though she was 20 by this time, and over the years she made friends, worked in fashion.
I saw Halle Berry and I'm like, I want to be like Halle Berry, and I'm like, I'm going to do modeling.
And eventually met her French husband, Antoine. Was it difficult to trust a man after your experiences?
Not at all.
Why not?
Because I grew up with the most incredible man. My father was just a beautiful man, so I knew I was going to fall in love. And I knew I was going to have somebody similar to my dad, but even more. Antoine makes me laugh every day.
When they started dating, Antoine hid a love letter in one of Aminata's drawers.
And this is the letter.
So this is the letter?
Yes.
Hey,
and that's the
it's
ring.
Antoine. But it wasn't until 4.5 years later that Aminata found it.
Vraiment gentil. Oh, no, okay. Now he's moved into French mode. We know he's serious. He looks like a guy who can't think straight. He's so in love.
He's like this all the time. He wakes up in the morning just in full joy. I always think that he's on happy pills.
Aminata joined the Borkham Hills African Ladies Troupe. They performed at the Sydney Opera House and later in London, sharing the stories of refugee women.
I love my neck because it was never touched.
But it was the birth of Aminata's first child that changed her life forever.
It just went really bad. We had 7 doctors and Antoine was quiet, and I could just sense something wasn't going right.
Serafina and Aminata pulled through thanks to her incredible Australian doctors. But if she'd given birth in Sierra Leone, which has one of the worst infant mortality rates in the world, both would have been lucky to survive.
1 in 8 women die. In Australia, it's 1 to 8,200.
After Serafina's birth, the Aminata Maternal Foundation was formed. Over the past few years, it's raised more than $500,000, which has helped around 20,000 women and children in Sierra Leone. Oh, and did I mention during that time Aminata had another baby?
Matisse, another joy. So it's blissful. Every single morning, that's my ritual. I wake up and I go, thank you, God. Thank you, I'm breathing. And if I was to die today, I'm a happiest woman because I know I've left a legacy through them.
Aminata's children have inherited her social conscience.
My name is Serafina, and today I'm going to talk to you about refugees. They often had to flee with little more than clothes on their back, leaving behind homes, positions, jobs, and loved ones. Can you actually believe that? Most importantly, refugees are human beings, so let's be kind to them. Thank you for all your time. Thank you.
That's such a beautiful speech. I can only imagine that as your children get to know your story better, they'll just get more and more proud of who their mum is.
They're really kind children. They're very kind and
I'm not at all
delicious.
surprised.
Aminata hasn't let her trauma define her. She regards Serafina and Matisse as her greatest achievements.
I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see, a million dreams keeping me awake for the world we're gonna make.
I can't speak.
Yeah,
Isn't
you've
she
destroyed me
stunning?
yet again, Lisa Wilkinson.
And just the most incredible woman to have come through such heartbreak and things that, you know, are unimaginable, that no human being should ever go through, to come out the other side and use that experience to really change the world for something like, I think it's 20,000 women have got through childbirth because of the money that Aminata has raised. And if you want to hear more about her story, this is the book. It's called Rising Hearts, and it is out on Tuesday. And if you want to find out more about her foundation, please visit our website. It's all there.